I'm here with Dr. Minu Hemmati, and we're talking about all over Germany there are various local level climate schemes, environmental schemes, everybody working in many cases individually. What are you doing to try to bring some of these learning experiences together?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm at the moment working with the German Environment Ministry. I'm working with Adelphi to support the German Environment Ministry. They have this climate initiative at the national level, and part of that initiative is supporting local authorities in their work on climate mitigation and in the future also on adaptation. And now they've been pouring quite a bit of money into projects and in creating incentives at the local level and for municipalities over the past 3 to 4 years. And what they're realizing is there's so many lessons that are being learned. Communities are unique, but we still want to draw out what are the main lessons learned that can be actually used elsewhere so that the same mistake doesn't have to be repeated and that the learning curve in communities is getting steeper. So what we're preparing to do is a long-term learning, reflection, and dialogue process that brings everybody who's working on local level climate-related issues in Germany together into a series of conversations. And the goal really is to make this as efficient as possible. I also want to highlight that I think the ministry understands very well that it's not just about gathering people in a room and having presentations about what's going on in this city, in this city, in this city, but to invest time to build relationships between people and to invest time in creating a dialogue that is really generating learning among people, and that might be even generating new ideas so as to inform support in the future.
So logistically, how does that work? Presumably there are a fair number of meetings and gatherings and exchange of information in that sense. Yeah. And also, what kind of things have you learned from this experience?
I think what we have learned is that there's many people that I talk to, I haven't talked to anyone who wouldn't be keen to have more exchange with others who are doing this work. So there's a great need for connecting with others, coaching each other, mentoring each other, sharing ideas. And I think what we're going to end up doing is a series of smaller workshops, very specialized questions where people can come to and say, I'm working on LED street lighting, I'm working on insulation of buildings, I'm working on old buildings where you can't make many changes because they have to be kept the way they are, and initiate exchange among people like that, and also organize conversations that involve a large crowd of people to generate very, very new questions and inform the government in that way.
I mean, Germany is a large, environmentally diverse, in some cases, diverse country, and obviously a lot of shared experiences, but are there also differences that need to be taken into account?
Yeah. The first conversation that I had in this regard opened with the sentence, every community is unique. And I think that's a very, very important lesson. Like every country around the world, every society is unique, every community is unique. Sometimes it's even the neighborhood in a bigger city that is unique. But that doesn't mean that we can abandon having to learn from each other. There are commonalities like participation and involving people that are needed everywhere. And that's like a common principle. And what I mean by participation is not just to tick the box and you put out a survey, but what communities increasingly understand and local authorities increasingly understand is that engaging with people in a meaningful way, in a deeper dialogue, in a serious dialogue, that is what's required. The solutions will then be very unique. The strategies that people take will be unique. But that is one principle, I think, that is very common.
And do you think this strategy that you're applying in Germany is something that can be shared beyond meetings like this one we're holding here in Durban?
Yes, I do think so. We had an event at the German Pavilion this afternoon, and we had people there from all over the world who related to what the municipalities were sharing. There is unique conditions in Germany. It's a highly developed country. There's a lot of technology, a lot of resources available. Plus, the local authorities have a lot of power in their hands. They can do a lot within their own decision-making remit. And that, of course, is not the case everywhere in the world. However, personally, I would say maybe there's a lesson in there as well. If in Germany, a lot can happen in terms of reaching our climate targets because communities do it at the local level. Maybe in turn that might mean that in other countries we need to look at decentralizing power in that way so that the work can be done at the local level.